continuous improvement at Indiana Furniture. I was asked to talk a little bit about this. So at Indiana Furniture, it's not just about continuous improvement. For us, we're not just going out and trying to do Kaizen events. We're really trying to look at, ironically enough, looking at it from a culture perspective and keeping with the consistency of what we're looking at here. So at Indiana Furniture, we're trying to really drive and make that a part of our life. How do we go out each and every day from really an employee perspective and say, how can I make today better than tomorrow? And we do have, really good support from the top down and all of management. So having that barrier isn't there, but we've got a lot of education to do from the floor up. There, has been exposure in the past, and we've got programs in place, but, really driving change from a management style and saying, how do we do this each and every day, and not looking at it from maybe a project perspective or when I have time, and really coming in each day and saying, how can I challenge the norm? So we'll go through a little bit of the history on Indiana Furniture. Started in 1905, Jasper Novelty Works, creating all kinds of wood items, including desks. Became a real staple for the community and created a lot of jobs. In 1929, they changed their name to Indiana Desk, noting their specialty, and during this time they were producing around 19,000 desks. In 1986, they added chairs to their lineup, adding upholstery chairs, and really looking to be that solution in office furniture. In 2005, hitting the 100-year mark and growing as a company, and now in 2018 being 113 years strong. So very good job, and very proud to be a part of that. So CI and continuous improvement at Indiana Furniture first introduced really in 2003. So what that was to us at that time was a process engineer coming in. He was basically working on continuous improvement activities 50% of his day. And so bringing in consultants as well to really try and map out what that journey looked like for us. Then in 2004, that was when we really started to get that full-time manager position, seeing the gains from those efforts, and really wanting to drive change. So focusing mainly on Kaizen events throughout the manufacturing facilities and things like that. Then in 2005, I would say that's, 2005 to 2012, that's where we really developed that structure and that foundation for what is continuous improvement. So beyond just having events, book reviews, reading stuff, the Toyota Way, looking at the 5S, visual management, out-of-hour boards, and how do we put sort of the whole package together. And I think that individual did a really good job of developing that foundation. In 2013, the position became open, sort of reevaluated our needs from a company perspective, and then in 2014 going back into that endeavor, seeing the value that came from the position, and then working towards that. So again, filling that internally, focusing mainly on engineering projects from that side of continuous improvement. There was an engineer that had filled that role, so it was well within his wheelhouse. And then in 2015, another individual came on board focusing on Kaizen events and leadership. So prior to that, mainly back in 2012, looking at the leadership portion, but then revisiting that in 2015. So a lot of change well within that time. So now we're at 2017 into 2018. So now I'm going to talk about kind of what it looks like for us now. As we all know, when new people come into roles, you often find that even the way they deliver a message is different, the way they interpret information is different. So step one for us is really, we took a step back and said, how do we understand our audience? Not just from a management perspective, from the employees, the office. What do they think of when they think of continuous improvement? Is it something that they look at as a good tool, a way to eliminate waste? Is it looked at as a hindrance? Is it looked at as a project? How do we focus on this and really redevelop that foundation to create a strong program and really allow that to grow with us? So looking at what that meant, we had to learn the people, the norms, the processes, and looking at it and seeing how it had been applied in the past, and did it work. So we had efforts in the past that we had tried, some more sustainable than others, but really looking at that and saying, what are we missing, or what do we need to add? Maybe we're not missing something, but we need to add something to that. Then, in talking with the employees and going from plant to plant and really looking at that to understand it, from an audience perspective, if they don't have the buy-in, we're probably not going to be successful. So we need to start with the employees. We need to look at them. So going around talking with them, asking them what they thought, what they've seen in the past, and going into those plants, it was referred to me as the Kaizen man. So if that's any indication of potential approaches that have been done in the past, looking at Kaizen events as being that focal point of the continuous improvement program, that was something that they were very used to. Not right, wrong, or indifferent, but that was the approach. So that really helped us to understand where do we want to go with this, how do we want to really develop a culture that's not just event-based, but really has the whole package of looking at it, developing a management style, and then doing that each and every day. So through that observation, understanding what today looked like, and really, that gave us the picture that some of the tools were understood, but a lot of it was mainly from an event perspective. I think they were looking for, from an employee perspective, me and management to come in and say, okay, we're going to do projects, or we may do events, or we're going to tackle things from an event perspective, but really what that got us to do was looking at it from how do we educate and teach on problem solving day in and day out to focus on the little wins that eventually become bigger wins. So again, looking at the current state of the CI approach, not always approaching failures as opportunities. I think any business that we go to can say they have this issue. It's not, something that's just to us. Looking at the people as potential issues instead of looking at the process. You can oftentimes fall into that trap to say Joe wasn't keeping up or something like that, or there may be something going on at home and the employee isn't able to perform. But how do we go from saying, okay, someone wasn't able to keep up, to why were they not able to keep up? What was that process, and how do we dissect it and really pushing for that? And now, coming in here, I can say that those conversations aren't as much about the people. When we come in and talk to the leadership and we start to focus on a problem, it's more about the problem statement, what are we looking for, and then two, what's sort of the data around why that's a problem and how bad is it, and things of that nature. So really a good shift from maybe looking at the person or some other factor, and really just now looking at the process, looking at the data, and saying, how can we improve each and every day? So good gains there. Hour-by-hour boards and visuals in general, there were some gaps in that, not being as up to date as possible, maybe not being managed to, but again, I don't think, I think you see that everywhere. We all develop visuals and measurements that we kind of get off track on, boards we don't update every day, but in coming in and looking at this, really, the gap wasn't the visual itself, it was the understanding. So again, knowing that we had to come in and maybe reteach or teach and turnover of employees, and saying, okay, here's the value in that visual, here's the value in that hour-by-hour board, into that Kanban system, here's why we use it, and really looking at that. So since we've done that, we've been more successful at utilizing that and getting people to understand demand and goals and inventory levels, and showing the gains from that. The last two kind of tie together, so we went over lots of turnover from the CI position for one reason or another, it doesn't really matter. But now always looking at that role, again, if we're looking at it from a project perspective, we kind of look at it as a role perspective. So we've got this individual, or group of individuals maybe coming in and challenging our norm. We introduced continuous improvement in 2013, so by that point, we're almost at 100 years of a culture that's been successful, so why come in and challenge it? So we had to get past that. We had to show that continuous improvement is a management style, but also the people that are coming in to try and challenge the norm, that's for the gain of all of us. So we're doing a lot better job at teaching those employees and showing them and working with them and getting hands-on and saying, okay, how can we win each and every day, and how can you be involved in developing that trust? So that was definitely a barrier that we had to get past, and I think we've done a good job so far in getting past that. So then when we look at what's missing, this isn't to say that we didn't have trust or didn't have a culture. We had a culture that worked. We had a business that worked, and it was successful. And there were trust within the team, but as far as the culture for coming in daily and eliminating waste, we had room to work. And really creating that into a management style, as we said, that we push each and every day. And how do we get away from focusing on just events and projects and really looking at the small wins of, maybe the 5S in the area and looking at the point of use instead of looking at a whole layout move or something like that. So those are things that we're working on. Problems as opportunities, that's came a long way. Working on that daily to look at those opportunities or failures within the system and saying, how can we improve on that? And then also getting background. And then lastly, as part of that culture, creating that bias for action. So when we come in and we see an issue, we find a solution, we want to act on that. So instead of waiting around and maybe talking about it, let's try something. It doesn't have to be real elegant. It's just, let's get this ball rolling so that we can see the gains from it. The other part of that bias for action is really teaching the employees that they're in control of their own destiny from that perspective. If they find something that is an improvement, we want to empower them to say, okay, let's take action and improve on it, and really develop them to be advocates for that continuous improvement each and every day. Then when we get to trust, that's trust for the system throughout the entire business. So when we look at, approaching continuous improvement as a support mechanism and really developing the culture, that's what we're after. We're after that sustainable culture, that drive, that thought process each and every day, so that when we come in, we know we've got ourselves and our teams looking to challenge the norm each and every day. And then listening to concerns. In the past, we may have seen approaches where, as management, we come in and we find an issue, we walk through the data, we give a suggestion, but that suggestion is oftentimes given as maybe, rock or concrete, or that's what we're going with. But what we've done is we may come up with a suggestion, but there's always opportunities to shoot holes in it. Let's tear it apart. We've got a suggestion. We may have information to back it up, but somebody else may have a totally different perspective on it. So in building trust for continuous improvement, I think the company has done a really good job of being as open-minded as possible and listening to all solutions. And then acting in the plant's best interest and without bias, that just ties in again to making sure that all the concerns are heard, that we're working as a team, and that each opportunity is really thought out and that the stakeholders really have a say in what's going on. A couple other things that we do to develop trust, CI suggestion board, something very simple but very effective. So the individual takes the card off the CI suggestion board, fills out what waste they're trying to eliminate, writes down their suggestion, and then puts it onto the board. Then the superintendent will come by, they'll take the card, go to that employee, go over the suggestion, go over the concern, brainstorm, pull in whatever resources are necessary, and then let's decide on an action, and then we're going to get that action rolling, and that goes into the middle column of your actions at work. Then, once that action is complete, it goes on to the far side of actions that are complete, and so it's a very visual for employees to understand how to be involved, to get involved, and then where their ideas are at along the progression of that board. The other part of that, beyond just developing their areas, is we do a gas card drawing and breakfast with the president every quarter. So we'll give a gas card out at each plant to try and entice them to say that, there is that in it for you, but the biggest thing that's in it for them is, and that we push, is that suggestion board helps you to control the change that's going on around you. We know change is inevitable, so if we can control that change and allow them to have a voice within that change, we're going to see a lot stronger, a lot bigger benefits, and the sustainability of that change is going to be a lot greater because it was their idea, and we've had that involvement and teamwork in it. We've gotten a lot of good suggestions from there, everything from safety improvements to excess processing opportunities, issues that go along with completion, so a wide variety of opportunity, even facility issues, anything that they can see that they feel needs improved upon, they can put up there. So it's a really good opportunity to create a voice for them. I know in touring Nick's, they do kind of the same thing with offering up suggestions and then rewarding those suggestions to, really get to the heart of that process and drive change through that employee. CI opportunity focus team, so instead of having maybe a Kaizen event and getting grouped together for a week, right now the approach is let's just do focus teams. So we have simple metrics that go along with first pass yield and finish. We're doing that at 2 plants, and that's really helping to develop what's current state look like, and then what are we going to go and attack, and are we improving? So before we really develop that and go into a Kaizen event, we want to have these focus teams to, number one, it helps us to clear up our processes and give us some focus. It develops training opportunities, and it allows us to really understand what, current state looks like, and are we winning or losing, and how to gauge those improvements. A couple other things we've done, we're looking at machine efficiency, so as sales go up, we've got to have capacity. So where do we have wasted capacity at? Where do we have opportunities for growth within our existing equipment? And then assembly issues. So that could be a vast number of things: engineering wrong, pulled wrong, built wrong. So keeping track of that, getting data collection around it, and then identifying what we want to go after first and what's the source of those issues. Developing problem solving. Part of what we're doing are CI walks. Sometimes, we refer to them a lot as more of gimbal walks. But we do that with top management all the way up through each plant. And we were going to the plant, and because of that prior focus, we were talking a lot about CI projects, layout moves, different things like that, which were successful. We did find gains from them, but they were bigger projects. They weren't the day-to-day CI and continuous improvement opportunities that you may see, in real time at the lines. So what we did in August was we could just revamp that. So it looks pretty familiar, I'm sure, to a lot of people when you say we're going to go out and basically give each supervisor the opportunity to pick an area or a workstation to 5S. And so we give them quite a bit of time to do a prior audit, and the team does an audit. And then what we'll do is we'll get together with myself, and we'll go through each line item, and we'll do training on the document and calibration. And then we'll come to a team score and understand where we're at from a 5S perspective. And when we look at 5S, we're really looking for point of use and efficiency and effectiveness. So really driving that, and trying to stay away from just organizing and labeling. So really, what's the use of that 5S? How can we create efficiencies and be more effective? And then really driving that power to the team members to say, each one of you can do this at your workstation, and these are the gains that you're going to get. Hour by hour targets, we would then go visit the hour by hour board that they picked. And what we did there, supervisors can have up to 5 hour by hour boards within their processes that they're trying to manage. And what we'll do is we'll pick one. And then we'll look at that and we'll say, okay, each error, each red hour, each gap within this hour by hour on a daily basis, we're going to track. And we're going to try and understand which ones plague us the most, what those opportunities are, and can we problem solve them in real time. So instead of being all over the place trying to manage everything, we're really trying to focus on how do we focus on one problem at a time, find it to its root cause and solve it, and then let's move on to something else. The next thing we'll visit is on-time delivery. And that's where the superintendent would walk us through what are the internal causes, what are the external causes, and what are we working on to solve one of those biggest causes that are internal and specific to our process. So how do we improve our delivery to our customers, and what does that look like to us in our actions to follow that. So this has really helped us to look more at how we run our business and try and gain those CI and those continuous improvement effort and improvements on daily tasks. So let's kind of move away from that project focus and let's focus more on how we run our business each day, what those gains are, and those little gains can really add up and improve. Some of the trainings that we do within the continuous improvement program so far, we've done some webinars with the superintendents, 2-second lean, engaging every employee. We'll pick that one because there's a lot of value to go with it. Engaging those frontline employees, showing them that they can take action and they are empowered to really make change and control the change around them has gone a long way. So that was something that was, webinars in general are a good opportunity for training and being exposed to a new thought process. The other one is standard work for leaders. So what are those things, as we saw prior to this, that we should be doing every day? And what are those reminders and what are those things that we need checklists for? So what was that with lean leaders and how do we create that for our company? We've done a lunch and learn for an entire company, all the plants in the corporate office, going over GIMBA, going and seeing, understanding the issue, then going into 5S and understanding how we standardize our processes in our work areas. Then once we're there, how do we make that process visual? And then problem solve based on those gaps that we see, and then leadership to support. So a couple of focus trainings and then more of a company-wide training, things that we'll start doing into next year as well. And then CI walk topics and tools. So as we're going through talking about hour-by-hour boards, Pareto charts, using fishbones and things like that, how do we use those tools and then training to them? So really that hands-on approach of using those tools, training to them, and then finding an outcome and showing that improvement so that we get that buy-in from all the team members. So 2019 going in, again, doing trainings, TSMA, there's a lot of shared learning opportunities. If you're not aware of that, those are great. Quarterly trainings on lean tools, and maybe more than that. Webinars is available, and then Kaizen events. I think we're to the point now where we've developed the foundation to have those events and really be able to bring people in with that buy-in and that focus to where they can be engaged within those events, and we can start to see some improvements coming out of those. Really using that day-to-day engagement right now to drive that change so that when we go to have these events, we're all calibrated, we're on the same page, and we can hit the ground running and make those improvements. So lastly, continuous focus on the culture. For us, it's all about that culture of continuous improvement, those daily wins, and really getting that education out there to those employees and showing them how to take those tools and utilize them and empower them so that they can use those continuous improvement tools to make gains within their working environment.